I have not come to terms with that loss, man. It's, you know, the Caraway fight, I can understand that because the guy took me down, controlled me for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes in the third round. The second round, he had about a minute and a half of control time. So that, I can understand that. You know, there's some logic behind that. But the way I grew up fighting, the way I understood boxing rules and everything was you hit the guy more than he hits you, you win the fight. That makes sense to me. So when I'm thinking I'm sitting there on cruise control in rounds 1 and 2 and I'm trying to fill the guy out, and he's this big striker, and nobody talks about this. This is what kind of bothers me. Nobody talks about he's the counter striker. I'm the wrestler. I'm the guy that everyone says is afraid of getting hit. I'm the guy that everyone says doesn't want to get any striking exchanges. I'm not a real fighter. Quote of Cody Garbrandt, I'm overrated and I have no hands or whatever. So in my head, I'm just like, I'm hearing all this stuff, and I let the media and fans and everybody and their mother and their baby mothers influence me in my fight style. So I go out there to prove a point that I can fight standing and decide to not use my wrestling, which kind of hurt me in the long run, but I think I answered a ton of questions. I can take a punch. I can dish it out. I just choose not to because the path of least resistance is take the guy down and strangle him because that's what I'm good at. I don't call myself the Funk Master. I don't call myself the Human Anaconda, the Human Backpack for no reason, you know? And that's just being honest. And when I look at this fight, I rewatched it a couple of times, and I scored the fight. I landed 32 strikes to his 15. And I even counted the low blow for him. I counted the low blow for him. So for me to count the low blow and him have 15 strikes landed in that first round, I landed 32. I don't know, logic doesn't tell me I lose the fight. So when I read MMA outlets saying, oh, Sterling wasn't busy enough, I almost feel like I'm being attacked because I'm not doing things that are spectacular or flashy enough or dominating enough. But we're not here to watch that. We're here to watch the fight. So if I'm winning the fight, score the fight on the fight, not what you know about me. And that's my only real frustrations. So I go into the fight, and in the third round, after the end of the third round, I put my hands up. I'm thinking I won. It's not to do this for the crowd. I think I won. But sure enough, I had a split decision. I try to keep the poker face and let everybody know, like, that's the part that's disheartening. I felt like I did everything I could. And then in the third round, I said, let's put an exclamation point and put a stamp on this fight and go after this guy and really try to get the finish. And I felt like I tried to do that, and I outstruck the guy. I think he probably landed one straight left in that third round. I popped my head back, and then I came right back forward. And I don't know, man. You know, I almost want to ask the judges, if you don't count leg kicks, you don't count body kicks, why not? So if you don't think they're effective in the scoring criteria, they're not effective striking, effective grappling. So how about I kick you in the body and kick you in the leg, and you tell me how that feels, and then you tell me if that opponent that I just fought doesn't feel the same thing. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So if you don't actually know what it feels like to be in there, for you to be judging a fight and not know what you're scoring, that screws so many guys over. And it's not just me. It happens time and time again. And I'm not trying to make excuses for me not going after the guy earlier, because I could have done that, but I respected the guy too much. Like people say, he's a world-class striker, and I think I showed I can strike with anybody, man. I can strike with anybody. He landed more punches, harder punches and strikes on TJ Dillashaw, who's fighting next in line for the world title, opposed to me. I just don't get it. So that's kind of where I just try to wrap my head around that and try to go back to the drawing board and figure out what I need to do. Because obviously, if you take the guy down and you're laying on him, you're winning the fight, even if you're not doing that much damage. And they're supposed to change the rules. If the guy's attacking off his back, he's supposed to win the fight. But I guarantee you don't see that happen. The guy's going to be on top, and they're going to score the fight for the guy that's on top. And it's unfortunate. That's not how fights should be scored. It should be the guy actively trying to finish the fight, actively being more effective with his striking, landing more strikes, and that's how you win. And the perfect example was Maidana versus Mayweather. You go back to that fight, the first one, Maidana threw about twice as much, even though he didn't land twice. I think he did actually land twice as much. He threw like 800 strikes, and Mayweather threw like in between 450 or something like that. But Mayweather wins the fight because he's the more effective, cleaner striker, and he's pivoting, using angles, and he's making him look like the guy can't touch him. I thought I did that. I honestly, wholeheartedly thought I did that. If the judges saw it the other way, you know, I can't argue that. All I can do is control what I do when I step into the octagon, and that's what's frustrating for me. I'm in a weird spot, you know, 2 split decision losses. It kind of puts a limitation on who I can call out and be realistic with myself. I mean, but honestly, I think I should be right there to fight Cruz, but you know, the last fight didn't go my way for whatever unfortunate reason, so I can't call that guy out. So I'm just in a weird spot. I don't know who else is there for me to fight, but at this point, honestly, whoever they give me, I know I hate when people say that, but honestly, whoever they give me, I just have to take the fight. I want to fight more this year, you know. As long as I'm not getting injured, I think consistency is the key. I'm getting comfortable in the octagon. You know, I can see the crowd, hear my coaches, and still be in the moment of the fight. And I think that comes from having more experience. And I'm just growing every single time I step in there.